Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Welcome on behalf of Sears and Google Cloud to our second webinar in this series of GCP webinars. So our first webinar was on GKE, best practices on GKE. I think some of you joined. I can see some familiar names already. The webinar today is focused on data management services on GCP. So so we've titled it as optimizing analytical workloads on GCP. And the key takeaways that we'll be covering today would be around data warehouse. So how do you modernize your existing data warehouse on GCP to get the most of your out of your data? We'll also cover how to leverage big data offerings on GCP, which includes BigQuery, and we'll cover those 2 points through some case studies. So we'll kind of talk through some real life client case studies where we will focus on, in particular, data flow and BigQuery. So a lot of learnings to share there. We'll also do a demo towards the end of the session to show you a real time end-to-end data pipeline. We've got two excellent speakers lined up today. So we've got Manan Kshatriya and we've got Pape Sise from Google Cloud. I'll hand over to them for a quick introduction shortly. So just for my introduction as well, my name is Pavan Udanani and I lead the UK and Ireland business for Sears. My background is digital and technology consulting, and I'll be moderating this webinar today. Manan, do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Hey, I am Manan Kshatriya, a data engineer at Sears, and I am professional data engineer certified in Google Cloud as well. Over to you, Pape.
So hi, my name is Pape. I'm a customer engineer here at Google, and I work for the EMEA market and working on all the product on the Google Cloud Platform portfolio.
Fantastic, thank you. So quick run through on the agenda that we've got today. It's quite interesting. So I'll take a couple of minutes to introduce Sears. Not all of you are familiar with Sears, so we'll do that quickly. After that, Pape will take us through the overview of GCP data management services. So in terms of what all is available on GCP when it comes to data and analytics. Manan will do a deep dive using case studies. So a deep dive using a case study from BLP, which is an energy trading company in India, where we will focus on data flow, and we'll also do another case study on BigQuery. And towards the end, we will do a demo. Quick introduction to Sears. The 4 bullets that I used to introduce Sears to those who have not heard about us. So we are a niche cloud engineering business. And we are born in cloud, so all we have done for last 14 years is cloud, nothing else. We are also Google Cloud and AWS kind of partner, so we are like a multi cloud vendor business. We mainly work with digital natives, so these are startups, early stage startups, or post revenue startups, or even unicorns. So we kind of mainly work with them, and our kind of proposition is to advance them on the cloud journey. Some of the key notable brands that we work with are Flipkart in India, Paytm, Ola, Oyo, and a few other fintechs in the UK as well. So that's what we do. We specialize in infra and app modernization. So GKE, Anthos, anything where that is about modernizing your infrastructure on Google Cloud. And we also specialize in data management and data lake, and some of that I think will come across today. And last but not least, we are 300 of us, and we are all technologists of different, shape and form. And again, hopefully that will come across from the work that you will see today that we are going to show. Yeah. So, Pape, do you want to take over from here?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction.
Sure.
Welcome everybody. I would like to start this webinar with a quick question, and would like you to think briefly about the data in your company. And I would like you to think about, okay, do you think that you're missing some opportunity in your data? I would like you to think about the different information. Can you just stay on this slide, please? Yeah, I would like you to think quickly about all the information that you have within your company, information related to your customers, to your different processes, your product, all of this, and try to think about, is this data fresh enough? Is it accurate? Can I get this data when I need it? And how does it help me when it comes to my competition? Can I get like all the values that I need from my data? If you read this phrase, yeah, basically, at Google, we understand that big data can be really different for everyone. And if we don't have the right platform, even being able to process like a few gigabytes can be challenging. From the beginning, Google has been seen as a leader when it comes to provide and help company use data. So this graph this report that you can see from Forrester is from 2017. And more or less when Google started with the cloud, and from the beginning we've been seen as a leader when it comes to managing data platform, and helping customers get the best out of their data. And this for like being able to process data either in batch, in real time, and being able to get insight out of it, and even apply some machine learning models and algorithms to be able to predict what's going to happen later on. Oh, how did you manage to do that? Well, it's simply because at Google, we started in the cloud more or less. So before, like a lot of other cloud providers from the cloud mentality, and we've been really connected with the open source system. So basically, we used to start a product internally, try to test it, try to know exactly the technology, release this technology to the public with a paper, and leverage the open source community to be able to get feedback and being sure that the product is the best. And then starting from there, if you go to the next slide, you're gonna be able to see that more or less all the different papers that we publish and open to the open source community. We also created like a managed version, customer-facing version for all of them. And this is the philosophy that we have at Google. We try to build it internally. We test it with a billion user applications such as Gmail, Google Photo, etc. And then when we know that the product is mature enough and good enough, we share it to the rest of the world and propose it to our customers, for our customer to be able to do exactly the same and bring innovation to their company and to their own customers. If we go to the next slide, we're gonna be talking quickly about the different managed database services that we have at Google. The first one is Cloud Memory Store. So Cloud Memory Store is a fully managed service for scalable and more secure Redis in-memory data store. Okay, you can. The second one will be Cloud Firestore. Cloud Firestore is also a fully managed database. Okay, it's a NoSQL document database that you're gonna be using and that you're gonna be managing. Please stay on Firestore, please. It's a fully managed database that you're going to be using when you have like a web mobile application that you would like to deploy. And Firestore will help you when it comes to storing, syncing, and querying your data. Okay, all of this in real time. The second one is going to be Cloud Bigtable. So Cloud Bigtable is a managed service based on the famous Bigtable paper that you could have seen earlier, that inspires the NoSQL movement in Hadoop. It's very good for operational and analytical workload when scale, high throughput, low latency are very important. Now that we talked about the in-memory and non-relational database, let's see what the third pillar for the relational database. This one is Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL is a fully managed database service that makes it easy to set up and administer your relational MySQL, Postgre, but also SQL Server. You're going to be able to use the tool you're familiar with to connect to your database and have them run and managed by Google. The next service is Cloud Spanner. Cloud Spanner is also a relational database, and you're going to be using it for mission critical database. One big thing with Cloud Spanner is the fact that it's a global database, meaning that you're going to be able to have a lot of our customers in the financial service, for instance, they use it in order to be sure that the consistency of a query, of a request, of a transaction is always respected, no matter where the user is going to do it in the world. So this one is a really strong product with really strong capabilities. Another strong product will be BigQuery. BigQuery just celebrated its 10-year anniversary a few days ago, and BigQuery is our serverless data warehouse for analytics and dashboard for analytics mainly. We're gonna be talking a little bit more about BigQuery later on during the presentation. One part really important also is the integration that we have with other services and other open source products. So here you can see Redis, MongoDB, Elastic. We have a way to manage them, and we have a way to offer like a managed services on GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and the same for SAP or Oracle. You're going to be able to store those databases on top of GCP. I would like to, if we go to the next slide, I would like to underline the fact that Google Cloud is a truly open platform, and being open is part of our strongest value. Instead of using open source made by others to build or paid cloud services, we create a very strong partnership with these leading players to offer managed services to our platform. And here you can see that all those different players are directly integrated within the Google Cloud Platform console. Now let's focus a little bit more on the topic of today's presentation, being able to optimize analytic workload on Google Cloud Platform. How to do it? It's basically what we like to do at Google is to help you focus on insight and not infrastructure. We can understand that a lot of customers might struggle when it comes to deploying a data analytic, because you have a lot to deploy, a lot to maintain, and it can be quite challenging when you don't know exactly how to do it and you don't get enough support and assistance. What we like to do is to help you focus only on what's bringing value to your company, being able to get real-time insight and being able to focus on what provides value to your company. And this comes with in Google Cloud can do it really easily with three products. You're gonna have like one product focused only on sending events, PubSub. It's a messaging system that lets you send and receive events and messages. The other one will be Dataflow, to just write pipelines. Dataflow will let you build data pipeline and handle complex data processing, either in batch or real time, and automatically handle distributing those jobs in parallel. And the third one will be BigQuery, to simply store and run queries. BigQuery, as I said, is a data warehouse that lets you upload data, even petabyte of data, and write query without dealing with provisioning, capacity, sharding, indexing, etc. All of this will be like a fully serverless managed platform that helps you create a data pipeline and get insight out of it. So how does it work? So basically, you're going to be able to ingest data using Cloud PubSub. It's like I said, it's a simple and reliable, scalable messaging service. With Dataflow, you're going to be transforming this data. So Dataflow is you can see Dataflow as a serverless managed ETL for extract to transform load, and Dataflow will using either Java, Python, or SQL. You're going to be able to create pipeline and then transform this data to ingest it into BigQuery. Within BigQuery, you're going to be able to store this data, and you're going to be able to analyze it and get real-time insight. BigQuery is also has a layer when it comes to machine learning, and directly from the data stored within BigQuery, you're going to be able to make prediction. Let's quickly have a look at those three services in detail. So PubSub is really scalable, so we can start from like 1 kilobyte per second to 100 gigabyte per second. So meaning that you have like really strong and consistent performances. It works on the publish and subscribe pattern, and this service is also global, meaning that no matter where you stand in a region, you're going to be able to have access to it everywhere across the world. This comes to the fact that PubSub relies on Google Google own networking infrastructure, and that can scale all across the globe. And obviously, PubSub is integrated with all the different services. As you can see PubSub more or less as a glue. You can see PubSub more or less like a glue that you're going to use to send information from one service to another. If we go to the next slide with Cloud Dataflow, the ETL tools that we have, Cloud Dataflow is based on the open source project Apache Beam, one of the biggest projects of the Apache Beam of the Apache Foundation. With Cloud PubSub coupled with Cloud Dataflow, coupled with PubSub, you're going to be able to to transform your data in batch or in streaming. No infrastructure is going to be required, so no pre-provisioning or anything like that. Dataflow is going to automatically scale up or scale down and spin up as many VMs as necessary to process your information. And being based on an open source node, on an open source platform, you have a strong community to help you when necessary. And because it can scale automatically, you're going to be able to scale to millions of queries per second when necessary. And last but not least, BigQuery. BigQuery, which is our highly scalable enterprise data warehouse. It's a fully managed and serverless. It offers real-time insight and streaming data. It has built-in machine learning out of the box, meaning that all those data that you're going to be storing, from gigabyte to terabyte or even petabyte, you're going to be able to use some machine learning model, either some machine learning model directly within BigQuery, or some machine learning models that you've been creating on TensorFlow that you like to run within BigQuery. You're going to be able to do all of this automatically. You're going to be able to do all of this really easily. Here you can see how it works. Basically, instead of creating a table, you're going to be able to create a model, execute this machine learning model within BigQuery without having to move your data from one place to another. Iterate this model in order to be sure that this model, and train it in order to be sure that this model is accurate enough, and then automatically being able to run prediction and get insight out of your data. So this is what BigQuery can do, coupled with Dataflow and PubSub. And basically, what I would like you to remember from this presentation is simply that Google Cloud can be here to help you simplify your big data problem, no matter the size of your data. So exactly the same infrastructure can be used for gigabyte of data or terabyte of data or petabyte of data. We have like we have a very big array of very big range of customers leveraging just those three products that I told you about earlier, because it's a serverless platform that can scale up and down depending on your need. You can cover the entire data lifecycle using those products, and you have like machine learning at every part of the process in all of our products, with a strong connection with the open source capability, with the open source community. And the idea is to have Google helping you when it comes to scaling your own company and helping you grow. So that will be it for me. Thank you very much for listening. Now I will let you, Manon, if you would like to explain to us how we can use Dataflow, BigQuery, and PubSub with a real life case study.
Yeah, thank you, Babe. That was a very nice introduction to the data service in Google Cloud. I am Manan, and now we'll be talking about how IoT-based company migrated to Google Cloud with Sears and ran Dataflow pipelines in a cost-optimized way. So just a quick introduction. A client is Bharat Light and Power, abbreviated PLP. It is a technology company which operates in the field of renewable energy generation. It is responsible for ingesting data from multiple sensors, processing it, and displaying the business KPIs to their clients on a web application based live dashboards. So previously BLP was running its operations in an on-premise environment, and as the data was growing, they were facing challenges to keep up with the growth. One of the primary concerns was doing real-time transformations on an incoming streaming data. So this is the architecture that BLP employed on the GCP. So I'll just give a quick overview. Data is ingested via the Cloud IoT core in a secured way and forwarded to PubSub. And then Dataflow pulls the incoming messages and writes to multiple sinks. First is it pushes the raw data to Cloud Bigtable, which is a low latency and massively scalable NoSQL database. And then custom Java applications query the data in Bigtable and calculate the business KPIs. The second thing was Dataflow partitions the data into fixed windows and writes to cloud storage to maintain a raw journal of all the ingested data points. So now we'll look at some ways how Sears, ran Dataflow pipelines for BLP in a cost-optimized way. So in any data processing framework, aggregating data or windowing streaming data requires shuffling. Shuffling is basically data being exchanged between worker nodes in order to compute the required results. Similarly, in Dataflow, there are several transformations like grouping by key, combining by key, or windowing of data, which results in shuffling of data. And these are quite common transformations in a data processing world. Normally, the shuffled data is stored in disks, which are attached to the VMs, which makes it stateful and less fault tolerant. So this is where the Dataflow shuffle comes into the picture. With Dataflow shuffle, the shuffle operation is moved out of the worker VM and into the managed backend service. As a result, the execution time of batch and streaming pipelines improves if it is heavily relied on transforms such as which involve shuffling. Also, it makes autoscaling relatively faster and increases the fault tolerance since VM will not be holding any stateful data. Another feature is flexible resource scheduling, which uses Dataflow Shuffle, which I explained in the previous slide, along with a few optimization techniques. Using Dataflow Shuffle allows Flex RS to handle the preemption of a worker VM better because the Dataflow Shuffle service does not have to redistribute data to the remaining workers when the VM is preempted. This gives the liberty to use PVMs heavily. I'll give a short introduction to what is PVM. PVM is short for preemptible VMs in Google Cloud, which are 80% cheaper than a normal VM and can live up to 24 hours maximum. Coming back, by default, FlexRS will allocate preemptible VMs for 90% of the worker fleet. And FlexRS should be used for non-critical time critical jobs only because the Dataflow places the job into a queue and submits it for the execution within 6 hours. It finds the best time to start your job within that time window based on the available capacity and other factors. So this is how you enable FlexRS. You just enable a parameter and just give it a cost optimized way. So we saw how we can leverage Dataflow for an IoT-based architecture, but Dataflow has many use cases in many domains, including marketing analytics and data lake modernization. Here is a sample reference architecture for mobile game analytics platform. Mobile game applications generate a large amount of player telemetry and game event data. This data has the potential to provide insights into player behavior and their engagement with the game. So this is how Dataflow can play a part here. Few use cases can be joining elements with other data sources. For example, joining a table of usernames to player statistics, or real-time validation of the input data, which can be used in fraud detection. And another use case can be data cleansing, such as ensuring that the event message is well-formed and matches the BigQuery schema. Similarly, Dataflow can be used for the batch-based scenarios as well. The same code can be used as a streaming, and the same code can be used for the batch with little changes for source and targets. For example, if I give a case of batch, data generated from Google Play Store like reviews, installs, crash, or application not responding reports that can be stored in Google Cloud Storage and can be transformed and aggregated via Google Data Flow, and then can be ingested to BigQuery for further analytics. So we looked at data flow and how it can be the use cases and how it can be optimized. Now we'll be shifting our focus on learning how Sears set up real-time analytics in BigQuery for a food delivery startup. So the problem statement was client was running OLTP workload on AWS Aurora having a MySQL database. Running analytical workloads on Aurora with read replicas, and obviously the analytical query execution was taking very long because it's an OLTP database and it was not built for running analytical queries. They explored options for various data warehouses available to them, but looking at all the factors combined, none of them matched their expectations as BigQuery. So why they chose BigQuery? So the client already had all the analytical queries prepared with them, and that can be lifted and shifted to BigQuery with very little modifications because BigQuery is ANSI Standard SQL 2011 compliant. Another feature in BigQuery is Streaming Inserts API. You can use this API and the data will be available in few seconds only for querying. And we already know that BigQuery is serverless and fully managed, hence no operations needed. You just create a table, ingest the data, and start querying. And we'll look at two more features, scheduled queries and Data Studio, which is the visualization tool in the Google Cloud Platform. So this is the architecture. The source was MySQL tables in Amazon Aurora, which has multiple dimension tables which were replicated to BigQuery in real time via Stitch. Stitch is a SaaS product for ATL, which is available as a partner solution in Google Cloud. Stitch was chosen because client wanted to get started quickly with a completely managed ATL service. The analytical queries were then run on BigQuery to generate the fact tables from those dimension tables with sub-second response time. Now we'll look at one way to optimize your BigQuery tables in a cost manner as well as the query performance. So partitioning is a technique to, you can partition the table according to the timestamp or the date column in your table. And if the date column is absent, we also have an option to partition the table on the ingestion time, which is automatically generated by BigQuery based on the time when the row was written. Leveraging partitioning is as easy as using a where clause involving a partition column in the query. This will scan only the necessary partitions, which will result in scanning less bytes and hence saving costs. You can see in the image that I am selecting every column, and in the where clause I am giving a condition that scan only this date's data. And you can see in the bottom right corner that it will scan only 700 MB, whereas the table is GBs, has the size of the table is in GBs. So this will result in cost optimization as well. Another use case for us was to send weekly reports via email to the management team. So this is how we set up. We leverage schedule query feature in BigQuery, and as the name suggests, it lets you schedule recurring queries. After the query ran, BigQuery sends an event to the Cloud PubSub, which in turn triggered Cloud Function. Cloud Function is a serverless execution environment in which you can write simple single-purpose functions that are attached to the events. So Cloud Function will export the resulting table in BigQuery to GCS in CSV format and send the signed URL in the email for the management team to access the report from via their email only. And they heavily use Data Studio as well. Data Studio is a data visualization tool available in Google Cloud Platform. You can create detailed dashboards and graphs on top of BigQuery tables, blend them with other available data sources, and share it across with your team easily. Data Studio allows you to connect to various data sources quickly and easily. Data sources act as a pipe to connect the Data Studio report to a collection of underlying data. Each source has a unique pre-built connector to ensure your data is easy to access and use. Data is natively integrated and is directly based on the underlying data sets, which makes updates super simple. So all in all, we were successfully able to set up near real-time replication of tables to BigQuery, optimizing some of the analytical queries to leverage the BigQuery functions, and hence the query execution times were reduced to sub-seconds from hours. So now we'll quickly look at demo, and what we'll be doing is we'll be streaming data to Cloud PubSub and then passing the JSONs and making it compatible with BigQuery schema and ingesting into BigQuery and seeing some reports in Data Studio in real time. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. So this is the sample data that we'll be taking. It's San Diego highway data, and it contains timestamp, latitude, longitude, and the highway number, and the lane, and the speed at which the car was passing through. So first we'll make a topic in PubSub, which is an event messaging. So it's as easy as just giving a topic name, and we don't have to provision any servers based on throughput that we'll be getting. Next is we'll be creating a table in BigQuery. It's an empty table, and I'll be using my own sandbox. So I'm giving the table name. And now I have to give the schema. I've already prepared the schema in the JSON format. So this is the schema that we'll be giving to BigQuery to make an empty table. And that's it, no server provisioning or anything. I'll just click on create table. Next, we'll start our data flow job. So what command I ran is, so basically I have a Java Maven project, and I launched a Maven command giving all the details related to my project, staging location for the data flow job, temporary location, and which region to launch the data flow job, and the runner, along with the main class to run from the project. So this is so currently it is building the jar, and it will upload to the temporary location, temporary bucket in that we defined, and it will launch the data flow job shortly. So as you can see, this pipeline is getting started. So we'll come back to here shortly, and we'll start sending data to PubSub. So I have a small Python file which will send the data that I showed in BigQuery, the highway data, and with a speed factor of 30, it means it will send 30 minutes of data, 30 minutes worth of data in just 1 minute. So it has started sending data, and in 10 seconds it's sending 477 events. So this is the graph that data flow passed from my code. So basically these are all the transformations. It will get a message from PubSub. It will extract the data, as in pass the JSON and convert it into Java objects. It will convert it to BigQuery row, and it will write the BigQuery into BigQuery finally. So on the right, you can see all the parameters and the key and value for the job. It has auto scaled to 1 VM, which has 4 vCPU and 15 GB of memory. Previously it was 0, and it has automatically scaled to 1 VM. And based on the amount of throughput data, it can scale more as well. So these are all the pipeline options in the right. So when I click on each of the transformation, I can see all the parameters related to that transformation. The system lag is the total pipeline lag, and wall time will give you information to recognize the bottleneck of your pipeline whole. So wall time is for each how much how much threads are time taking for all the shuffling and the resourcing and cleaning down all the threads. So using wall time, you can realize which is the bottleneck in your data flow pipeline. Along with that, you have all the graphs and the metrics available here to get to see the, suppose for example, how many elements are passing through these per second, or how many bytes are passing through each second. So we can see it has started ingesting, and 4,000 elements it has already started ingested, and move to the next transformation. Along with each transformation, you can see overall job metrics as well. So it will take time, but it will show you data freshness, system latency, and everything. Once it goes, like after 10 minutes, it will show here. And this is the auto scaling graph. So currently it shows that it was 0 when I launched the job, but now it has 1 VM. And it will give you this graph will give you the throughput for the overall job. And you can see there are a lot of Stackdriver graphs and metrics available here in this only. This is the logs you can see for your data flow job, and it's scanning. So here you can set what log level you want, warning, error, critical, or info. And you can see worker logs as well. Suppose it has auto scale to 10 VMs and 1 VM went bad. So you can drill down into what happened to that 1 VM. So now the data should be available in our BigQuery. So as you can see, this is it has 0 rows, but in the streaming buffer, it has 8,000 rows, which is ready to be queried. So we'll look at the preview. Yeah. So this is the preview where you don't have to query to look how your data looks, and you can just click on preview and it will show you some 200 rows to see how your data looks. So we are getting timestamp, latitude, longitude, and the same that we sent as JSON. Now we'll quickly make some reports in Data Studio. I have already connected and I deleted, but this is how I added data. These are all the connectors available in Data Studio, and there are a lot of them. So here I just selected BigQuery and gave my project and then the data set and did confirm. So I'll make a quick bar chart to show how many vehicles have passed for each highway. I'll select dimension as highway, and now I can see that for highway 5, 7,000 cars have passed for the given time range, and for highway number 8, 3,000, and for highway number 808, 2,000, and so on. So here I can quickly make detailed graphs using dimensions and metrics. Right from here it will throw a query in the backend to the BigQuery, and the BigQuery will return the data, and it will show here. So this is another graph that we can make. So for another data source, I gave a custom query. So I gave this query as a data source, that maximum speed and a minimum speed and the average speed, and select the highway from this table and just group it by highway. So I can directly give the dimension as highway, and I can select multiple metrics like maximum speed, average speed, and the minimum speed. And it's querying in real time in the backend that the data that is getting ingested right now. So if I click refresh, the count has increased from 7,000 to 9,000, and these metrics are also updated. So we saw how easy it is to set up a pipeline, a streaming pipeline in real time to without setting up any servers and just setting up the code and the schema that we require. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Cheers.